Yes, the last event for 2015 was announced yesterday with the 4 athletes going to Samoa.
Correct.
Let's sum up the year. Let's
sure.
start at the beginning and
sure.
end with this event here.
Okay. It's been a hectic year, Earl. I think you're very aware of all that we've done this year. Of course, the very first event for this year was the Winter Olympics. I did not have the opportunity to go, but as you know, Tucker Murphy went and did cross country. He enjoyed the event. It was very, very different to what he's experienced conditions-wise, but as always, he represents us extremely well. I think for the future in our winter sports, it's something that we need to discuss on how we, the BOA, in conjunction with the national governing body, should be developing our sport. Obviously, given we're a Caribbean-type country, most of our young athletes are off in colleges and universities, and I do know that we have a few skiers on the horizons in the youth department. So it's an ongoing process that we're very cognizant of, but I think there possibly is the potential for ongoing representation in Winter Olympics. Probably our next goal to maybe consider is a youth Winter Olympics, but that will be, I think we need to discuss that with the new quadrennium that comes up after the Olympics next year. Of course, then we went off to Veracruz to the CAC Games. That had several challenges to it. I think I indicated to you that was a good time for all national governing bodies who were down at the CAC Games to regroup, look towards the future, because that is a minimum standard within our representation. And there is a lot of work still to be done. So I hope when we go to the next games, we'll be in slightly better shape. Pan Am Games, which we've just literally come back from, were good games. The venues were fantastic, and once again, because of the compact events in a quadrennium, I think from national governing bodies, they have to ascertain where their athletes should be peaking. And I would have thought Pan Am Games should have been one of the games that we were looking to peak at, and hopefully over and above Flora's fantastic games, other athletes should have looked towards to do better in the games. Great representation. We had our challenges during the games, but I think our athletes did us extremely proud while they were there. And some of them have already looked at the reassessment of where they finished up and where they should be at this particular juncture. Now we're going into the Youth Commonwealth Games, which the opening ceremony, as you know, is on September 5th. And I look to these games like I do the Youth Olympics. This is our future. And I think our youth are in very good hands, whether it's in track and field, whether it's in sailing. We've got some squash athletes. And I think now we should be sort of focusing on the changing of the guard, so to speak, because that does inevitably happen. And so the Youth Olympics and the Youth Commonwealth Games gives us an opportunity to start tracking our future and where we should be putting our emphasis on.
Now, next year is what would be considered an exciting year.
Correct.
That will culminate with two special events for the BOA.
That's correct.
The Rio Olympics.
Yes.
And it's your 80th year anniversary.
That's correct.
Let's first talk about the Olympics.
Sure. Rio. Well, as you know, right now we have at least 2 athletes that have already qualified. Theoretically, we have 3. I'm looking to Roy Allen Birch, who, God bless him, he's training hard. He's now, from what I can understand on Facebook, has been able to start to do some exercises over and above the upper body. So, and I know, if I know Roy, he's determined to make the Olympic Games, and I do wish him all the best in his recovery process. And of course, we have Tyrone Smith in long jump, and of course we have Trey Houston in the, is it 100 and 200, or is it just,
I think it's just
200? So at this stage of the game, it's excellent. with reference to equestrian, while we haven't officially qualified, we're knocking on the door. And if you know anything about equestrian, it's all about team events and individuals. And if somebody drops off, we could be in. So I know our athletes overseas are still competing while they can. And just if the opportunity knocks, hopefully we will have somebody there in Rio. In the swimming aspect, obviously, over and above Roy Allen, I know Julian really wants to make sure he gets there. Flora, with all that she's doing, I have no doubt she will be there. And of course, it's the ITU points that count. But right. I give her a given. She's just having a phenomenal year. In Sweden, and I haven't mentioned in this interview, but how proud we are of her bronze medal at the Pan Am Games. We were both there, and it was such an emotional event for me. She's to be commended on her perseverance and her commitment to training, between her cross training that she does. So then after that, of course, as you know, that's the end of my quadrennial, and but however, it is our 80th anniversary, and we've got the ball in motion. We've set the date, which is the 22nd of October next year. We have sent an invitation to Lord Sebastian Coe, who's acknowledged that it's in his diary, unless anything untoward should happen. I think it's fortuitous that having just been elected president of the IAAF, and all that he's doing, I think this is a good time for Bermuda to have someone of that caliber come here and speak to our youth and our current Olympians, and to the people of Bermuda of what it takes to be an Olympian, not just from the athletics point of view or an athlete's point of view, but from an administrative point of view, what it takes to get everybody to these games. So unless his schedule is totally off the wall, we expect to see him here for this weekend to be our guest speaker at a black tie affair at Southampton Princess. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. As far as I am aware, I don't know if we've actually ever celebrated any of our anniversary. It's something that we've talked about from quite some time. I have a committee together made up of Robert Horton, Charlotte Simons, Myra Dill, Steve Marklow, and myself, and we have been meeting consistently sort of every other month. And I only had a meeting I got back on the weekend. We had a meeting Wednesday, and all systems a go. We're putting our marketing packages into place, and hopefully, all being well, I will have Lord Sebastian Coe do an unveiling up at the National Sports Center. I'm not going to say what it is, but so yeah, it's been an exciting year. It's been an exciting quadrennium from a National Olympic Committee's point of view. We are ever changing. We've just revamped once again our Constitution. We're looking at an athlete's contract. WADA is forever on our mind. Marketing is on our mind. And we realize that to keep our athletes motivated to continue, we know that we have to do whatever possible to get them to these games, support national governing bodies, and therefore our athletes. So, yeah, it's exciting.
On another note, how concerned are the IOCs about the ever-prevalent drugs in sports? I know it's something that you would have had to discuss or will be discussing in general meetings when you meet.
Yeah, I would think I have a meeting. I fly out this weekend to go to a Commonwealth Games meeting in New Zealand, and then when I get back, I go off again to Washington for the Association of National Olympic Committees, and I would assume in Washington that will be a very hot topic. I know it's a hot topic for Lord Coe within the IAAF, but the drugs issue is ever prevalent. We're very conscious of it. I know our own regional body here is staying abreast with everything. How do you stay on top of cheats? Right. Cheats are one step ahead of everybody's game.
But it would appear that it's getting targeted in just track and field, but it's well known that it's in just about every sport.
Right. I can't speak to that. I just think it's an extremely sad situation that an athlete has to succumb to that level to ensure that they can compete and get the results that they want. I don't condone that kind of behavior, whether it's track and field or any other discipline. So I just think that the message just has to be continually preached. I'm part of an IOC education committee. I am certain that I have a meeting in November in Lausanne, and I'm sure part of the education process will be about the drug situation and how we continue to push the message across to athletes that cheating is just not in anyone's best interest, especially for the athletes.
On another note, I sent you an email regarding the IAAF looking at CAC.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it. I'm still not aware of it, and I must admit I haven't had an opportunity to speak to the president of our Bermuda National Athletic Association. You brought that to my light, which you are very good at doing. So I need to have a conversation with her as to what that is all about and try and get a handle of how that affects Bermuda and its competing. So.
Okay. Well, we want to say it's been a tremendous year, or
it has.
Tremendous quadrennial
so far.
And we look forward to capping it off October 22nd at the Fairmont Southampton.
That's correct.
Hopefully with a medal or two from the Olympic Games.
That would be great. And I just want to say to you, Earl, thank you for your support. You're with us all the way. You've sort of kept us in the light through your own company and on Facebook, and I think that the coverage that we're now getting is certainly showing that Bermuda is still, we've been competing since 1936 in the Olympic Games and we're still going strong. So thank you for your support also.
Yes.